Ever heard of a mortgage? It's a term you might have come across if you're thinking about buying a house or already own one. It's like a big loan you get to buy a house. Essentially, you borrow money from a bank or a financial institution, and in return, you agree to pay it back over time with interest. And guess what? The interest rate on that loan can go up or down. These rates are influenced by a variety of factors, including the economy and decisions made by central banks. Now let's talk about BRICS. You might be wondering what this has to do with your mortgage. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries have formed an economic alliance to enhance their influence on the global stage. They're like the cool kids club of powerful countries. They meet regularly to discuss economic policies and strategies that can benefit their collective interests. So, what do these two have in common? How does a group of countries on the other side of the world affect your mortgage? Well, BRICS countries sometimes lend money to the United States. They do this by purchasing U.S. Treasury bonds, which are essentially loans to the U.S. government. These bonds are like IOUs from the U.S. government, promising to pay back the borrowed money with interest. When BRICS countries buy these bonds, they are lending money to the U.S. This lending affects how much interest the U.S. pays and, you guessed it, can impact the interest rates on your mortgage. When the U.S. has more lenders, it can afford to offer lower interest rates. Think of it like this. When BRICS countries lend money to the U.S., it's like adding more money to a piggy bank. The more money in the piggy bank, the more the U.S. can loan out at lower interest rates. More money in the piggy bank means the U.S. can loan it out at lower interest rates. This can make mortgages more affordable for people like you and me. But if BRICS stops lending, the piggy bank shrinks, and interest rates might go up. This means higher mortgage payments for homeowners. Let's dive deeper into how this works. Understanding these connections can help you make better financial decisions and anticipate changes in your mortgage rates. Imagine you want to buy a new video game, but you don't have enough money. You really want that game, and you can't wait to play it. But your wallet is empty, and payday is still a week away. What do? You could ask your friend for a loan, right? Maybe you have a friend who has some extra cash and is willing to help you out. You promise to pay them back as soon as you get your allowance or your next paycheck. The U.S. government does something similar. When it needs money, it borrows from other countries, like BRICS, by selling them U.S. debt, also called treasury bonds. These bonds are like a promise that the government will pay back the money with interest. Think of treasury bonds like IOUs. Just like you might write an IOU to your friend, the government issues these bonds as a formal promise to repay the borrowed money. When BRICS countries buy these bonds, they're essentially lending money to the U.S. government with the promise of getting paid back with a little extra interest later. This interest is like a thank you for lending the money, just like you might promise your friend a candy bar when you pay them back. It's a small reward for their help. The more countries, like those in BRICS, that buy these IOUs, the easier it is for the U.S. to borrow money at lower interest rates. This is because a lot of people want to lend money to the U.S., making it cheaper for the government to borrow. But what happens when your friends stop lending you money? What if they don't trust that you'll pay them back, or they need their money for something else? Let's find out what happens in such a scenario and how it affects the U.S. government and its ability to borrow money. Remember that piggy bank? The one where you saved all your coins and small bills, hoping to buy something special one day? Now, imagine if the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, decide to stop buying U.S. debt. It's like taking money out of that piggy bank, leaving it empty and unable to fund your dreams. With less money available, the U.S. might have to offer higher interest rates to attract other lenders. This is similar to how you might offer a higher interest rate to get someone to lend you money. Think about it. Would you rather lend your friend $20 if they promise to pay back $21 or $22? The higher the return, the more attractive the offer. Most people would choose the higher amount. It's basic human nature to want the best deal possible. The same goes for countries and investors lending money to the US. They want the best return on their investment. Higher interest rates can make US debt more attractive to these investors, drawing in more money. But it also means the US government has to pay back more money in the long run, increasing its financial burden. This could have significant implications for the economy and future fiscal policies. So, what happens next? The global financial markets will be watching closely, and the decisions made by BRICS could ripple through economies worldwide. Economists and analysts will be debating the potential outcomes, and governments will need to strategize their next moves carefully. It's a complex situation with no easy answers, but one thing is clear: the financial world is in for some interesting times ahead.